All right, welcome back to Profit Instead. I'm out here working on the bus, and I wanted to give a little more insight on the next video that I'm working on. We brought the bus home. Last video you saw is we brought the bus home. This next video that you're watching now is where do you find a place to work on your bus? What did we do? So when we moved out of our house, we went on ahead and started looking where could we build the bus. So I started looking out in the country. Where can we rent that has land so that I can have the bus on site where I'm living, so I don't have to go drive back and forth to the work on the bus. I'm already commuting back and forth to work at the time. Don't want to have to continue commuting back home just to go commute over to the bus or go from work to the bus home. I mean, I would never be able to be home and just be spending a lot more time driving instead of actually working on the bus. All right, so I just wanted to cover more of how did we decide where we could build the bus at. So coming from a place where we built a house in a subdivision, which I would advise against anybody unless you really like HOAs to not build a brand new house in a subdivision. So we obviously couldn't build it there. Our mortgage was too high to even think about taking on a side project like this. And you know, the main purpose is just for us to get out of debt. So we needed to find a less expensive place that we can live in, a place that we can build a bus. So this is what we came up with. This is you know, not too far away from town. It's about 30 miles into San Antonio from here. And we were able to rent this place, and for considerably less than what we were paying on our mortgage, which is great. It's a beautiful place. It is in a mobile home, which we never thought we'd live in one, but hey, we marked it off the list. It's an adventure, and it's not too bad. Minus finding the dead possum underneath the house yesterday or the other day. That was some fun times. But we're on almost an acre here, and moving this far out of the town, we figured, oh, it's in the country, we're not really going to have a HOA to worry about. Well, it turns out there is an HOA, and it turns out it was a little too strict for my liking. So it turns out that when we parked the bus initially here in the driveway, we got the landlords got a notice, and they said that the bus was not a suitable, or the driveway is not a suitable place to park a bus. Which I don't know, it's a vehicle, so I figured the driveway would be one of the best spots for it, but hey, to each their own. So we went on ahead and moved it off the property, and then we have gone and found out that we can maybe get approval, because there is specifically in the deed restrictions that allow buses to be parked here. And the buses, I guess you just have to have approval, and they have to be behind the house on an approved pad. So we're looking at getting that gravel pad poured, hopefully. I'll kind of show you how I'm mocking up the plans for that. I mean, that was not in the plan for the bus. We didn't think that in a community like this that we would have an HOA. So that was the one downside, but overall, the land and everything, we wanted to be right here where the bus is, live right by the bus, so I don't have to travel to work on the bus. So this is what we're working on, and we're going to continue working on it. Hopefully we can get the bus over here within the next few weeks, have it close by, and start making progress on it. Before, to make sure if you find a place to rent that has some land, do your due diligence, make sure, is it okay if I park a bus on the land? And thankfully the landlords have been amazing. They've been very accommodating to us having the bus here and kind of making our dreams come true here using their piece of property. So originally, as you can see here, I got the bus parked up here right now on the driveway. Originally I parked it here in the HOA. As it turns out, I moved to the country, knew there were some deed restrictions or an HOA, but they said a bus was okay in the deed restrictions. So I parked the bus up on the driveway. I didn't want to leave it here because it was very slanted. As you can see, it's coming downhill right here. But when we first got it here, it was parked right there, and they ended up sending us a notice saying you're not allowed to have the bus parked in front of the house, and it must be behind the house on an approved pad. So I went to the landlords. Long story short, went to the landlords, asked them, are you good with us? Can we put a gravel pad in on your house? And Thankfully, they said, hey, do whatever you need to do. Send us the paperwork. We'll sign it for the HOA and send it their way. I'll show you the plans here that I came up with, just a quick drawing of the land. Sent that into the HOA, sent them a picture of the bus, and thankfully they approved the bus to be here. So that's our story. Everyone has a different story of where they find out they end up building the bus. And so I'll show you here, we ended up getting gravel. I got all this gravel. It's a gravel clay mixture, really good for driveways. I got it for, I think, $400 delivered, and it was entire dump truck load. I think it was 22 cubic yards or something, more than what I needed. I ended up using every bit of it though. And as you can see here, here's the driveway without the bus on it. The bus has made some pretty good divots here as it's gone back and forth and compacted it down, because I tried to make it real thick in the back here to try and level out the bus as much as I could for a working space. And I'll throw in some video. Some of the videos that I have of me putting in the driveway, it's not the best quality. I didn't have a very good camera there. I just bought a cheap one. This one I'm using now is a little better. Not that it's that great. But anyways, the driveway, ended up getting that put in. Dump truck came, put that in, and I'll show you some video of that. Fine right there. Alright, so as you know, we got the gravel in, and this is after a few days work. We actually have quite a bit done. But we got the driveway headed down that way. We ordered quite a bit of extra gravel, and so we got a lot to do. We're probably gonna end up putting it up there. Right now it's just a real thin layer down here though. So we're gonna keep working on it and getting it thickened up so it can safely handle the 20,000 pounds of school bus that will be driving and sitting on it. Then once it was in, I was able to bring the bus over here and work on it. In the meantime though, we had to find another place to store it because the HOA essentially said, get the bus out of here. Which is the reason why I'm never, side note, never living in an HOA again. They're terrible. And we've had a terrible experience with every single one that we've lived in. never going to live in an HOA again. That's going to be the beauty of the bus. I'm hoping buy some land, small piece of land to park it on, hopefully with no HOA. I want to be able to do what I want with the piece of land that I bought. Anyways, a little side tangent there. When the HOA originally said that the bus can no longer be parked on the property, we had to find a place for it. And thankfully we had some people at our church that have some land south of here. They were very generous, very kind to let us go park the bus over there. So we ended up parking it over there for several months before I was ready to get to working on it and doing the roof raise. And that's kind of what this video is kind of covering in the interim. So I ended up getting, we went out, I parked it there for a while, but then I wanted to take it out and drive it every now and again. So I took it out, getting some tarps over the tires, trying to protect the tires, parking it on some wood blocks, just kind of doing those kind of basic things to kind of just better store it out there. And then shortly after that, it went through the HOA approval process that I went through earlier. We got that approved, got the gravel pad in here, and then I've had the bus here ever since on site, being able to work on it. So that's our story of how we were able to set up the bus and be able to work on the bus, finding a place to work on the bus. Everyone's story is different. I've seen people get, you know, friends with shops, friends with land. Not sure what yours will be. The only thing I suggest is due diligence on, before you buy the bus, where are we going to put it and where can we work on it? What are we willing to do to work on it? If we have to commute to Dover to drive, you know, drive to it. For us, that would be much harder. We have 5 kids, and leaving my wife alone with that many kids constantly, she's already with them all day, and doing that continually while trying to work the bus would have been much more challenging. So being able to have it here on site where we live was the best option, and we thankfully were able to make that happen. Thankful to many people being able to make that happen. So this is our setup here. Excuse the messy construction project, because that's what it is. Working on the floor part of the bus right now. Again, more videos to come out that I'm working on of how we got the bus to this point. All the construction, the roof raise, the interior removal of the seats. I mean, everything that's got to this point, I have video footage on it. I'm working to get through it and edit it and bring it. So come along the journey. Subscribe to Pros Instead. Give us a like if you appreciate it, or a dislike if you don't. Comment in the comments below. We'd love to hear from anyone that's starting to follow us. And we will see you all in the next video.